Okay, in this demonstration, I am going to show Andy Warhol's blot printing technique. I found this probably 1960s, 70s image. And hang on, let me just close the creaky door here. And the first thing after you find an image you like is you want to trace it. Typically, I was tracing with pencil. Instead, this time I used the sort of coral colored China marker. I think, you know, it could just be a different color. I think this is a really good idea because it, from the back side, which we'll be painting our ink on, it shows up so much better than pencil. And particularly if it's a color, as I'm painting this black, I'll know exactly what I painted and what needs to be, what is left to be painted. Okay, another thing that is, I think is really kind of cool about tracing is you very quickly see that the photographer and the food stylist, there's a composition there. Look at all of the circles going on. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And then, of course, the omelet, which is the half circle. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blot print on top of this Gelli Print background. So let me just remove, don't want to lose my fabulous vintage image here. Might use it in some other collage things. So let me just set this up. Now, it helps to put a white sheet of paper on one side, because as I'm folding it over and I'm inking it, I want to be able to see that image clearly. Okay, now this is kind of a critical part, and that is what's the best position on this Gelli print for my image. Okay, so let me turn this around and I'll tell you why I picked what I did. Okay. Okay, so even though this looks kind of messy down here, there's a curve of the plate that kind of goes with it. I might trim this up later. I like that it's lighter at the top, lighter at the side. Okay, so I've got it positioned. Give myself enough room here. Oh, come on. Here we go. All right, I'm going to tape my Bristol down. It doesn't wiggle around during the process. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to show you the basics, and then I'll finish it. And then, depending on where we get to today, I may come back and then show you the next step of painting it in some more. Okay, got this set up. Now I'm going to do it upside down from my point of view, just so it makes sense to you. And it's best to start, well, this will be the bottom for you, but for me, it's the top. I'm going to start up here and work my way down so that I don't get India ink all over my hand. Okay. And I have two fine brushes that I'm using about that size. Now, Here I go. I think I'm going to use this big brush for these bigger shapes and a smaller brush for these little details on that napkin. Just no India ink stain, so you might want to set it up so you're not spilling it or getting it all over yourself. Okay, so I dip in. Now, if I come out, that's a lot of ink, right? If I start painting like that, it's probably going to be too big a blob. So you want to wipe some off on the edge of your India ink. Okay, and then I'm kind of closely but lightly I'll paint some lines in. You don't want to do all of them because it might dry. Okay, then I'm lightly going over that. Okay, it's transferred. That, you can't even really see that. So I'm going to go a little bit darker. So I can go over this multiple times if I want a darker line. Okay, I'm adding a little more pressure, a little more India ink, just so you can see that. Okay, so now it's starting to show up. It's kind of a wild background. Okay, still pretty faint. I'm on purpose going to use more ink so you can see the difference between a fine line and a thicker, blobbier line. Okay, so that one really blotted out. Okay, if I have too much ink, you can have a little napkin or something, take some of the ink off. I'll just finish this plate and then you can get started. Okay, so if I want finer lines, like that's parsley there, get my smaller brush. Oh, that didn't really show up. Okay, that's blobbier. I actually think my India ink is old. Now you can also do this. You could do this with a liquid acrylic paint. As a matter of fact, I'll probably come in with my squeeze tube here and show you the difference. Okay, let's see. I'm going to use the squeeze tube just so you can see the difference. So that's this Sennelier 3D liner. So this might be good on the bacon. So I get a precise fine line. I just know that some people, like if you have arthritis, this is pretty hard to coordinate. So that's why I use the India ink. And I guess what would be good is you have a longer drying time on that. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that actually shows up a little bit better. You could do a combo.
Is the Sennelier 3D liner acrylic?
It is. And then some people have been buying, you know, using that liquidy black paint and squeeze bottles they bought. So that's another way of going. Now, my hope with this background, I mean, it's pretty busy, but I'm going to fill in all of this. And then when I come back, my choice would be, I have some choices here. I could paint in the negative space, the background surrounding the objects. I could pick another color and paint that and leave the omelet and, you know, kind of this weird color that I like. All the food could have the weird color. Or I could paint the food really just like an omelet and have the tablecloth to surround this weirdness. I have a feeling I'm going to go more the green eggs and ham route here with the omelet. So I'm going to finish. I'm going to end now. I think you've got the idea, but I think the main thing is keep a little napkin and blot off some of your ink. You're doing small sections at a time. Otherwise, the ink dries pretty quickly. And you can also use the 3D liner. Okay, so I finished my blot printing onto this wild background. I've got a couple choices. I could decide, well, I want to go more traditional and paint that omelet in yellow. I don't think so. I think I want to have it wild, okay? But I have to get rid of something or neutralize something. So I'm going to paint in the surround first. And I think I'm going to go blue. I have this light turquoise. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. And I can go solid, or I can also do a bit of a wash so that some of the patterning shows up. I haven't decided yet what I'm doing. Okay, so let me just mix that a little darker. I'm adding a little bit of water. And I'm going a little thicker because I think it's going to make it more obvious where the plates are. It's going to be a little bit easier to see. So I think it helps to block out the bigger shapes first. Of course, I'm working on this upside down, so bear with me here. Okay, I think I got most of it. I decided to leave this upper portion lighter. That's a bit of the horizon line. I'll either keep it lighter or I'll put some sort of maybe a blue wash on there. I don't know yet. Okay, so I want to leave the egg, and these are English muffins. I've got napkins I could paint, silverware. So I think I want to leave that color. I want the bacon to look a little more traditional. So I'll do that next. It's kind of fun. It's a little, I don't want to say paint by numbers, but it does kind of have that puzzle quality to it, but it's relaxing. Okay, so I'm putting some burnt sienna in my red because bacon wouldn't be a straight red. It's got kind of a brownish cast. But it doesn't have to be completely realistic because it's kind of a wild painting. Okay, using a finer brush. And I'm being pretty loose here. I'm not getting real persnickety. I'm letting some of the underpainting show through. Okay, now I probably need to figure out what color will my plates be. I could stick with that original yellow. I think I probably will. Maybe make it just a little bit lighter by adding some white. Doesn't look like a very healthy meal, but it's funny. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now I'm going to go for the inside of the cup even lighter as it would be in the photograph. Okay, I like that green already in the painting. I'm going to put it in some of the areas that are food. These are cookies, but I'm going to go a little bit more green over here. Go a wash over here for this. That was coffee. Okay. I'm going to blot it. I want some of what's below to show through. Okay, now I feel like I want a little more contrast with that yellow. It's a little too wimpy. I'm going to bump it up, the color. Be loose, not being real fussy about it. think I'm going to go darker with the tablecloth now. And suddenly it's a very primary color painting. Okay, I think I'm going to keep working on it, but stop the video because this will be a huge file to load. So I'm going to stop.